All right, hey, what's up, everyone? Here we are, hole number 2. So what we're going to do now, free to play, I would recommend probably just laying up, trying to get this kind of as aggressively as we can towards the top. Somewhere up in here. As you can see, I'm kind of keeping that ball guide just a little bit long. I expect it to compress down. I'm also going to go with a little bit of curl to kind of keep it out of harm's way. So there's 10 rings. You go probably 13, maybe even 13 and a half here. As I mentioned, here's the curl that I wanted to put on. This should help facilitate the ball to the left away from the rough. And just coming up to the edge. So you will want to be very careful with how you go about that. You don't want to wind up in the rough, but I also do want to stay fairly aggressive. And that's one of the main reasons, just for a starting point, I'm just trying to get dialed there. Do keep in mind, I got that really nice rollout bounce there. There's going to be times that you're going to get the checkup bounce, which I didn't get. So there's kind of two different rollouts that you always need to consider. Had I got that checkup bounce, I might have even been 8-10 yards behind that. So I really did just get kind of the best rollout scenario, and it got just barely short. Just a little bit more, position to the left with my land zone would have really got that out into more of the center, where alternatively a great ball right could have sent me into the rough. But you'll see, the main reason that you want to stay fairly aggressive here is because you're going to be pulling up towards max, and of course you don't want to wind up going out of range here. So you'll see with what I'm doing, what I'll typically do with my ball guide is try to get it a little bit long through the hole, kind of pointed just to the left. And aside from that, we are going to go pretty close to 1 per here. So I'm going to maybe go, 10.4. I'm going to do it in 1 pull. You can see that I'm kind of overestimating my target. We are going to use the max adjustment, even though it's more of a mid club. And that's just kind of more of like an overplay. For a wind effect. So even though I'm using 10.4 rings and I'm at mid-ish to max 60-70% distance there, you can see it's still light. And I also didn't have quite enough ball guide offset. I did offset just a little bit to the left. What ends up happening, especially when you have all that side spin, is it usually ends up cutting harder to the left. So I was kind of anticipating that it'll do a little bit of that and not deflect so much out to the right. However, you can see I was probably a little bit light on my ring adjustment as well. When I looking at where that ball actually landed, it seemed to be just a little bit right of where I was setting up. But on top of that, you also the wind effect. And it did, it did kind of take off just a little bit more to the right with the wind effect than I anticipated. So you will need to, maybe get that ball guide just offset just a little bit more to the left on your starting point. But as you can see, as long as you can stay fairly aggressive off the tee there with the QB off the tee, you should be able to get yourself up and have a reasonable chance at that sniper. And if you can keep that spin maybe around the 4-ish, 3.75 on the backspin, you should be able to add just a little bit more side spin on that than what I just did on my shot. I was kind of maximized with 4.5 backspin. I would have had to lower that to about 3.75 to be able to do the full. So keep that in mind. Good luck with that hole. I'll see you guys on hole 3.